Please read the disclaimer. Holy smokus, it ain't no jokus. XRP holders, is BlackRock shutting them down? You'll understand soon. Plus, we got a lot of news to talk about. What did Jimmy Cramer just say? Bad job report and more stuff. I don't want to spill the beans too soon. All I ask from you is that you give me a beautiful smile to send out those good vibes. Smash that like button. I'm transmitting to you from the bomb shelter. I'm actually in an area that is much quote unquote safer than I was before. So, I'm still in the bomb shelter because that's the room that I always record from when I'm here. But we still have to be safe, right? So currently XRP is sitting at $1.35. XRP went all the way down to $1.34, the support zone here, but bounced off of that. It's not just XRP. The whole crypto market took a big dump here after the job report, which we'll get to in just a second. Bitcoin is sitting at 68,000, Ethereum under 2,000. So that nice pop that we saw just 2-3 days ago after the ISM numbers, now job reports is sending the markets in the other direction. It's not just the crypto market though. Stock market down, NASDAQ down 1.5%, S&P down 1.3%. So this is a market broad sell-off, not just crypto. VIX just popped 20%. So we're back to 28. It's actually the highest that we've been so far. And I'll tell you why I think, well, there's two reasons, the job report and something that Trump said as well that I think is making the markets pop a little bit. But for now, XRP continues to dance with the crypto markets. I have my, whoops, technical difficulties. I have the roller coaster, but it doesn't work without my green screen. So it will just look weird if I play it. But the roller coaster continues to happen on the crypto markets. As you can see, Jim Cramer says now is, so you know what that means. The inverse Cramer. No, but we had the day start out with US employment rate at 4.4%, where the expectation was 4.3. So unemployment higher than expected, not great. And not just that, but the job report was a total disaster. The US just didn't stop hiring. It actually lost 92,000 jobs in February. Despite the vanishing jobs, our average hourly earnings rose 0.4%, showing that wage inflation is still sticky even the labor market breaks. And the markets, of course, started selling off immediately, futures dumping, crypto selling off. And interestingly, silver is still at 83. So silver and gold really didn't have too much of action today. We did, it's been kind of stable the past few, since basically Wednesday, Tuesday, we've been here around 83. Gold, similar, right? If we look at the 1 hour chart, you can see basically similar zone. Interestingly, oil popped all the way to 94. So almost 100, right? Triple digits for oil. 92 is the current level. Trump said that they would, not that in just a second, but here you can see not that here. The Trump administration announces $20 billion reinsurance program for oil tankers and other vessels moving through the Strait of Hormuz. And this is the details. The USDFC will insure losses up to $20 billion on a rolling basis. And the USDFC and Treasury Department will be cooperating with CETCOM on the program. Priority is to get oil, gasoline, LNG, jet fuel, and fertilizer through the Strait of Hormuz. So, they're saying this, but oil prices continue to pop because the ships are stuck there for now. We'll see if they start moving, what could potentially happen with the price here. Many people went long on oil a few days ago, when it was around 70, 74, and they're doing a very nice trade there. Again, there's always opportunities in the market, and you have to decide where you want to invest and how you want to do it. As always, I just want to remind you this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Very, very important. Okay. Now, this also had people a little bit concerned, right? The fact that President Trump said there will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. And when you already were hearing some rumblings that maybe they would make a deal and things like that. And he says, no deal, only unconditional surrender. And that means that this might be longer than expected. So if we were talking about this a few days ago, that quick and swift would be good for the markets, right? Long and pulled out, right? What's the word I'm looking for? Stretched out, right? Is not great for the crypto markets, for XRP, for the stock market. That's not good. And so hopefully, right, because spending a lot of money, uncertainty, oil prices, all that, inflation, right, all that puts pressure on the markets. And so short and swift, better than long and stretched, right? So we'll see how that plays out long term, okay, in the next coming weeks. We did this. Bitcoin just hit its most oversold level in 11 years, according to the Ultimate Oscillator, right? Now, listen, sometimes you have a situation where assets are oversold and they keep on selling off, right? And we talked about this previously on the channel that when we had the bull market and then the bear market in 2021, 2022, it was about a 75% pullback, right, from the high to the low. 78, right? We're not there yet. So if we would have similar sell-off this time around, that would bring us around 28,000, 27,000, somewhere around that level. Now, I'm not saying that similar sell-off is going to happen, but there's still the possibility that even though you're oversold, you can continue to be oversold and Bitcoin could drop all the way to 50,000. We could also see a bounce and we could see the markets rallying. People one day up and people are jumping for joy, and 2 days down and people are running for the hills and saying it's all over. Let's let's cool off a little bit, relax a little bit. If you are long-term investing, all this could be just another dot on the history map. I will maybe remember it more because I'm experiencing, all the ballistic missiles and stuff, right? But, in 4 or 5 years, you probably won't even remember what was going on in March of 2026. That's the reality of it. I will probably remember just because it's a special experience for me, but, an outlier experience. Those are usually the things you remember. But, I don't remember what was happening in February of 2025, right? What was happening in March of 2021? I don't know. You remember special events, like you remember, if there was October 7th. I remember, right? I know what happened then of 2023. I remember, but other dates, I don't remember. You don't know what's going on, right? So this is going to be important to remember that if you are long-term investing, long-term trading, that this is just going to be another blip on the chart. And if we look at markets in general, this is very interesting. The stock market has never experienced anything like this. S&P 500 trading range in the first 41 trading days of 2026 is just 2.7%. The narrowest for the period on recording back to 1928. This is also tighter than the Dow Jones trading range since 1896. By comparison, during the 2008 financial crisis, the index traded within a 35% range, 1,200% wider than the current level. 2020 pandemic saw a range of 15 or 450% wider. Even the calmest periods in the 50s and 60s and before the financial crisis saw higher volatility than today. The markets remain extremely subdued despite elevated volatility beneath the surface. So if we look at it, and actually the past, let's say, week has been pretty, poppy, like up and down and up and down. But we haven't seen real movement. Like it's been volatile. You'd have one day up, one day down, one day up, one day down, one day up, one day down. But it's all, since the beginning of the year, it's all like tight, right tight here, 6,800, 6,700, a little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit up, a little bit down. And this kind of action doesn't usually happen. Like you usually see more movements most of the time. So this is a very interesting situation right now. We talked about the possibility of it, you know, reducing a little bit of the stress here, having the crossover and potentially selling off. And if that sold off, then maybe we'd see the bottom, and maybe that would be also the bottom for the crypto market. We talked about it this morning, if you caught that video. So it will be very interesting to see. I don't know why suddenly I have an accent like this. Sometimes my accent like pops out. It's interesting. Um, when my grandma was alive, she would laugh at me because she would say that it would take me about a day or two to lose my accent. So during the year, right, I would not speak English, right? Only to her sometimes, on the phone, whatnot, and in English class, and that's it. Um, and so when I would go to visit her in the summer, I would, I wouldn't really been speaking English. And then I would get there. And the first day I would sound like this, and all my speaking would be like this. I would be talking like this. And she would say, "What are you talking? Why are you talking like this?" But then after a day or two of just speaking English, it would shift. It was funny. I was on this thing also with like American kids, and the first day they were like, "We forgot." The first day I sounded Israeli, and then after a few days they were like, "We thought you were one of the college kids, right, with us." So it's but because now I speak English every single day to you, so I think my accent is gone, right? Just because I'm speaking it all the time. And so, but I only speak it to you. And my wife is very angry at me that I don't speak it to the children. But it feels weird to me because that's not the language that I've been speaking to them for their life, right? So maybe if I would have started in the beginning, but again, at that time when my first son was born 10 years ago, I wasn't speaking English on the daily, right? So I've only been doing YouTube for 6 years. So I don't know. It just maybe one day I'll do them like English Mondays and only speak English on Monday. Let me know in the comment section. What do you think? Do I have an accent or not? um, Now, because you stayed on my rambling about my English, breaking BlackRock, a $10 trillion asset manager, might be facing liquidity crunch in private credit fund. BlackRock limited withdrawals from its 26 billion HPS corporate lending fund after investors requested 1.2 billion, equal to 9.3% of the fund's assets. The fund paid 620 million, but once it reached its 5% quarterly redemption limit, the remaining requests were blocked. This is known as a redemption gate. Private credit funds lend directly to companies that often cannot access banking financing. These loans usually pay 8 to 12% interest, but they typically last 3 to 7 years and are not traded on public markets. That creates a structural mismatch between investor withdrawals and long-term corporate loans. Now, private credit had become a major source of funding for companies, and market has grown to roughly 3 trillion, replacing bank lending after 2008 financial crisis. But the credit cycle is now facing new pressure. The labor market is starting to weaken, layoffs are increasing several sectors, and consumer spending is slowing. When employment weakens, corporate revenue tends to slow as well, and companies that rely on borrowed money then face higher risk of missing payments on these loans. If payments increase, investors begin to pull money from credit funds. This is exactly what we saw with Blue Owl and now BlackRock. The question is now longer just about one fund restricting withdrawals. The real question is whether these events are early signs that the credit conditions are tightening across the private lending market. Because if companies begin struggling to service debt while investors are trying to withdraw capital at the same time, the stress will not stay limited to these few funds and spread through entire credit system. And again, this could be a snowball that affects all the markets. And this is just a reminder that even a huge behemoth like BlackRock can have issues sometimes. We talk about sometimes crypto exchanges have some problems. Well, banks have problems too, and BlackRock might have a little bit of an issue right now. They'll probably get through it, but then this is just a reminder that anything can happen, and you always have to diversify yourself, always have to have backup plans, and it's very, very important to remember that. Okay. Don't forget to smash the like button. Check out the links in the description down below, right? Smashing the like button is special today because it's Freaky Friday. It's going to be even more freakier when you smash it. It's going to go, ooh la la. It's going to be freaky. I didn't know if I wanted to get freaky like in the bedroom or freaky like on Halloween. So I went with the first one. I had some wine before, you can tell. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.